Hey everyone, it's Supported here. I hope you're all doing well. Just wanted to make a quick video on some trigger settings for the G7 G7se. As you are aware, we don't have any trigger stops, but we do have the next best thing, and those are software trigger options. So Gamesir allows us in the Nexus software to adjust the minimum and maximum dead zones for the triggers, and these are calibrated to have 255 levels within the 0 to 100 dead zone options that we have. So if I have basically no dead zones applied, I will have a full travel of the trigger giving 255 levels of output. So from 0, I can go all the way maximum to 255. But if I want to, I can add a first, let's say 5 level dead zone. So whatever the first 5 level will be, I won't get any register when I'm basically within that. So if I'm resting my fingers onto the triggers, they won't accidentally actuate. And I can reduce the maximum of the trigger level as well. I'll show why I reduced that. But within these linear basically values, we have a toggle option of hair triggers. Now what hair triggers do is, the moment it registers anything between those 100 levels that we have for the dead zone, so now that I have the hair trigger on, the moment I will go over level 5, that my minimum that I set, it's going to do a full press up to 255 sort of values that it has on the triggers calibrated. And the downside is, the moment it comes back a level, so let's say it's registered at level 7, the moment it comes to 6, it will disengage as well, all of it. So in games where you are using ADS or quick fire weapons or whatever, or let's say you're using an automatic rifle, the moment you let go, it will stop firing. But the really good feature that we have here is the hair trigger options actually work within these parameters. So for instance, if I don't have the maximum set to 90 and I have the hair trigger on, if I press the trigger and my finger moves slightly, it will come off. And this can vary controller to controller depending how you've calibrated them, because these are Hall effect triggers and you might have a little bit different calibration to my unit. So yeah, this can be annoying that you are firing the gun and you press the back button to do a jump shot and it disengages a little bit and then your gun fires again. So every millisecond matters in competitive gaming. So this can be problematic, but like I mentioned, the hair trigger works within the minimum and maximum. So if I keep my maximum to 90, now if my finger is moving, it's not going to disengage. And if I want to quick tap firing, as long as I am within the 5 and 90 and I keep tapping, it will basically keep registering another full press. If I don't have the hair trigger option on, so let's say I just use the minimum and maximum just normally and I don't have the hair trigger option on, if in game, this is where I'm going to have a bit of an issue if you're somebody like me who uses the bottom of the trigger as a reference point. If you can use, for single to fire weapons, if you can use the top end of the trigger as a reference point, so you can just feather tapping at the top end, you don't really need trigger stops. You can just maintain pressing at the top end. That's fine. I myself find I'm not too accurate with that. I much prefer bottoming the trigger out and then tap firing at the bottom. Now this is where I run into an issue. I can't, the game won't basically do another press because the game is waiting for the whole trigger to be depressed and then pressed again. So at the top it's fine, at the bottom it's basically not. There is one way in the game settings I can increase the minimum dead zone. So I can, if I go into my dead zone settings and let's say I increase the right trigger minimum to 75, now I can do basically have the trigger response the way I like. So I can just press it down and keep pressing at the bottom and it will basically keep firing. But I have introduced a delay because the first 75 levels I'm not going to get a register for the fire, so I have to go the initial delay I have. This is where the Gamesir options are amazing. They have basically given us the best of the situation without trigger stops basically. So if I have the hair trigger toggle on, the moment I press I will get the register, and when I bottom out the trigger and keep tap firing, I will keep getting a different, basically a register at the bottom as well, and no issues. So, and it actually works really well. Now, as long as I have the maximum set to 90 in my case with my triggers, and I'm using an automatic weapon, it doesn't, it won't stop firing. So I can do jump shots, and it doesn't basically come out of the what you call it. It doesn't disengage at all, and it works absolutely perfectly for me. But if I had that maximum set to 100, yes, the moment my finger move, my gun will stop firing. So I think the hair trigger options work really well, and they've also given us the option to just use the minimum and maximum. So don't use the hair trigger, just use minimum and maximum. But what happens with the minimum and maximum? So let's say I've kept the minimum to 5, maximum I will bring it down to, let's say, 10. So these can become like, it will do the 100%, the 255 basically levels within these parameters. But we are at the same now situation where we are top feather pressing. So if you can do that, for Call of Duty, you don't even have to adjust them, because Call of Duty will register a gun press the moment you press it. There are some games, I know Halo, you have to go to at least a 30% register. So this is where that can come in handy. But if you're like me and you go towards the bottom of the trigger and use that, now if I'm using manual trigger or the manual minimum maximum, the bottom end won't do anything for me. So yeah, I find that difficult. So this is the best thing the software has. It has the options for basically everyone. If you somebody who feather trap at the top, then you can use your manual ones. But if you're someone like me, who's much prefer bottoming out the trigger, and you are running with a single fire weapon as a secondary, I can do that towards the end. And if I have a fully auto weapon, I don't have to worry about that trigger disengaging when my finger is moving or whatever. It works absolutely perfectly. I hope this helps you out. If you have any other suggestions, if something that works for you with the Gamesir controllers, definitely leave them in the comment below. It doesn't just help me, it helps a lot of other people out as well. And the insights you guys are leaving are actually absolutely amazing. And thank you so much for everybody who subscribed. Your support means a lot. And thanks a lot for watching this video. Hopefully I'll catch you in one of my other videos. Bye for now.